Go. Right. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
All right, great. We'll just loosen a little bit. Okay. Oh, everything's squeaky. Okay. I can't find a place that doesn't squeak. Oh no, that's okay. It's a new spot. Right, take it front and back. Right side to side. Right, and rotating. Great, opening and closing. Okay, take it nicely within. From the hip all the way down. Okay, when you're ready to take it into the shoulders. And change direction. Take the hands onto the shoulder. Circle backwards. And change forwards. Do that with fist. Circle going. Change direction. Okay, now come across the body. Great, nice big circles back. And change. Right, roll out the elbows. And change. Circling the wrists, figure of eights. The opposite way. Wrists together. Change in direction. Break your fists with a rotation. Standing out with both hands. You're reaching it up the sides. And change. Again. One more. Great. Circling the hips. And change direction. Right into the knees. Bend it. And come down a little bit deeper. Reaching back. And down. And back. And this one. Stretching back. Circle them out. And stop. And the other way. Great. Can we just work the feet? Just start with just gripping with the toes, so just pulling the toes up. Gripping, clawing into the ground. Take the feet. Think about spreading the toes out. Okay. Now just think about spreading the big toe and the little toe. Spread them out. Good. And then just pulsing the big toe. Aye, cramp in my foot. Aye. There we go. Okay. It's coming off the ground, circling the ankle. The other way. Just extending out the toes. Pulling the heel up. Just reach down. Great. The other one, circle it. And the other way. Pointing the toes. Pulsing and out of it. And press the heel down. Touch the toes. Great. Taking the legs a little bit wider. Open out the hips. Play with kind of side to side motion. A little bit more complex, working like a figure of eight. That's okay. Figure of eight track across the hip. Great. Go down a little bit deeper, use the hands. Open the legs a little bit more. Roll through the hips. Great. Pressing the hands down, just stretch out the back of the knees. Let the hips hinge down, let the head just fall towards the ground. Lengthen down. Upper back curls. Nice deep breath. You can reach the forearms down to the ground, the elbows. If you get to there, just take the hands behind the back. Let the hands come up over the head. Open up the shoulders. Nice and slow. If you've got the hands there, take them back down to the ground. Keep the hips where they are, just walk the hands forwards. Lengthening. Hands away from the hips. Let a little bit more weight go into the hands. Shift the hips forward a little bit. And just walk the feet together at the back. And then just pressing the heels down. Treading with the feet. Right, just walking the hands back. Hold the body forwards. Chin goes towards the legs. Take the deep breaths. Great. It's nice and slow coming up. Just take one back forward. Let the feet be on train tracks. It's nice and square. Just sit into it a little bit. Feels comfortable. Just go take it a little bit deeper. Great. Bring the feet together. Step out back. Lift the leg. Sit into it. Feet together. Take that leg down. You can flat with the foot, lengthen into the hip. Lengthen the leg back. Fold forwards into the hip. Just let the knee track towards the toes. Just take it down, take the opposite hand down. Down. We'll play with one. This is a nice one. Take the elbow to the chest. Reach the elbow down to the ground. And then raise up, reach the elbow to the ceiling. Pointing to the ground. You work from the hip, work from the torso. Touch the elbow down. You don't need to touch it down, but just point it towards the ground. If you can touch it down. Just follow it. Opens the hip up. And then opens the torso up. And then just start to open the hand up towards the top. Let the arm feet down. Great. And just press the hand back down. Slightly stretch the leg back again. Keep the hands down. And release it. Change the leg. Just kind of pull towards the hip. Pulling the leg back long. Finding the hand, just working the elbow. Elbow to the ground, raising up. Hip fold. Down. Open up the torso towards the top. And let the hand open up. Top. Right, press the hand back down and just lengthen back down the hip. One way just to work the spine. Find that kind of 90-degree position with the front knee. Hands out in front, keep the spine quite relaxed and just swinging side to side with it, nice and stable in the ground. Keep the arms loose. Spine long but released. Let's take this off the ground. There we go. Okay. Okay, and then we'll do the same, just change the leg. And then kind of 90 degree. Spine long but released. The arm swing. The whole torso. Nice and anchored in the ground with the feet. Okay, great. Just find the knees, find the hands, press the toes back, lift the hips up, lengthen all the way back down the body. It's an A-frame. And then just walk the feet forwards towards the hands. Lengthen down. Bend the knees slightly and just pull the body up long. Great. Okay. We'll just do one foundation training one. So just working with the founder. We'll kind of pulse into it. So just working from this back long position and just pulsing in and out of it. Okay. So we'll just do a few here. Nice deep breaths as you do it. So pull the body up long. Let the knees and hips release back. Reach out. As you reach maximum extension, just pull yourself back up. So breathing into it and breathing out of it. Nice deep breath in. Breathe out of it. So feeling the ribcage as you go in and expanding the whole torso as you come up tall. Just hold in that position. Just let the eyes kind of settle on the fingers through them. Out, hold it, couple of deep breaths. Every breath feeling kind of expanding, opening, lengthening. Reaching out a bit more, maybe pulling the hips back a little bit further. Squeezing the fingertips together. Head's nice and long, tall. Lengthen through the neck. Anchored in the feet. One more deep breath. As you breathe out, keep the hips where they are, just raise the hands up towards the ceiling, palms up, spiraling from the little finger. Couple of deep breaths here. Squeeze, anchor yourself into the feet and the ground. You can think about pulling the ground apart, squeezing it together, whichever you feel is kind of comfortable. And you can recruit more of the body to hold the position. Deep breath in. Next out breath. Allow yourself to fold forwards. Release the spine as you go down. One deep breath here. As you breathe in, find the shin bone, hold the back long. Feel the pressure in the ground, pull the chest up as you breathe out. Just let the feet come back to neutral and just shake out. Roll up shoulders a little bit. And the wrists. Roll up the arms. And the legs. Great. And just into the whole body. Shake out any tension. Yeah, just finish. Nice deep breath in. Collecting up. And just let the body go down through the ground. Spine releases. Use a little bit of movement just to check the spine, nice and relaxed. So pull yourself up. And one more there. Nice big breath in. Arms to the center line. Pull yourself up long. And we'll just take it into the swing. So just let the arms go through the center line. Separate as they come down. Nice, dynamic. Swings. You feel the ground underneath the feet. Oh, it's nice and heavy. Great, just keep that motion going, so keep that kind of dynamic in the body. Just press the palms together, but you're basically going to mimic the sword cut, so you're just going to pull the arms up long, so you've got that kind of stretch, slight stretch of the arm, and just let the arms just drop down, but keep that kind of tension in the arms. Bring it up, pull it down, bring it up, pull it down. Keep that same kind of flexible, elastic quality through the body. Send a little bit of tension into the palm now. Try and just feel, it's going to start to engage the arms, but try not to add tension in. Or if you feel there's a lot of tension, see if you can kind of release it, especially at the top, the shoulder. And the kind of tensioning of the arms just naturally through the position. Try not to add anything extra in this case. Do that. Nice, nice. Yeah, nice. Great, and then we'll do the same thing. Start from that same position. You've got a relaxed palm position here, and then as you go in, as you go down, imagine you're doing the cut. You're just going to squeeze the palms together here, and just check in as you do this. You're not doing this kind of stuff with the shoulders. So just again, find that position. Release that strong grip, but allow the body to just settle in. Settle in. Again, you're going to increase the kind of tensioning across the structure, but try again not to kind of, don't really add anything. Just let the movement. Let the movement do it, basically. Or I add into the arms. Just letting the body ground. Nice strong grip with the hands as well. Bring them together. That's it. Yeah, so the main thing this is you'll notice naturally if I bring tension, if I bring a little bit of focus into the body, you'll feel this kind of recoil through the body. Now just notice where you feel the recoil basically. So if I'm doing this in the hands or I'm throwing the body forward with it, the recoil will go to the hand and it will pull the body out. So if I really had a strong focus here and I'm throwing it out, the body's going to do that forward. So, and my only choice is just to make the rest of the body rigid, to hold it up or just fall forward. So try and find the one where it feels like the recoil's actually still in the body. Still in the body. And if anything, what I actually want is the recoil that goes to the ground, bam, bam, to kind of a little bit lift up, and the extent that it can go, and I feel that it goes from to the top of the head and the crown, and maybe a little bit further up. That's really the feeling of balance, basically, for me. So the structure being released and open, and allowing that recoil hit the ground and slightly spring back up through the body. But at the same time, being fully grounded. This is essentially what you're doing with the cup. It makes it very kind of obvious in a sense. There's no weight in the body in the sword, so anything I add forwards is just me doing it. So find and ground. Really have a strong grip as you do it. we go. Right. Great. Okay, we'll go into the walking. So just looking at this, pretty much the same exercise. So just shoulder width apart with it. Just experiment. You've got the arc coming through. You've got the idea of just landing the sword on the horizontal, or you've got the idea of just focusing. Just mix them in, but look for that same kind of feeling. Just head now with the hands, and especially look out as you start to add or increase the power in the hands and the focus. Just notice that sense that the body wants to start to push the sword out. Just let it sit into the body. Sit into the body. See if you can notice that same kind of recoil. Feedback from the body or from the ground through to the body. Just mix in the arc, settling the sword and focusing. Good. Good. Nice one. Nice.
Morning.
Serena, good morning.
Nice apartment.
Nice apartment, yeah, swanky. Okay, we're just working a little bit on the sword guard. Just working with shoulder width apart, and just explore just the sword cut, so you can arc through with it. Fix it on the ground, or just add in a little bit of focus into it. Just work your way into. Okay, great. Great. Okay. Before we go into the feet, just play in this case with the speed of it. So make the cut as basically as slow as you can make it. So I spend a lot of time in a sense correcting is the sense of like pushing and pulling with the arm. So some people have this idea about pushing and pulling, which is never really useful in terms of sword work. But one arm pushes, one arm pulls, all this kind of stuff. So just look for it to do this, especially the cut down. Go slowly with it and just feel the movement. Take it as slow as you can, kind of keep it in motion. Slower the better with this. Really feel what's actually going on with the arms and what kind of action I need to do to basically allow the sword to find that arc from that top position of the spine down in front of the body. Just kind of as slow as you can keep everything in motion. If you feel you're getting kind of stuck, just increase the speed a little bit. Or the alternative, it just kind of pulls through that part. If I'm getting stuck in this top position a little bit, just kind of pulls. Generally, I'm getting stuck because the arms are going to try and do it. And the weight of the sword is kind of holding the body stuck. Just a matter of linking yourself into the ground. Let the hips activate. Yes, that's. And if there's anything pulling, in the movement, it's not you, it's the ground pulling the sword down, right? So I'm allowing the ground to pull the sword down. So it's not me adding it, which is really always going to, if I push the sword down, I'm going to resist that motion. So I'm really allowing the ground to receive the sword in that sense. So just starts kind of pick up the speed a little bit, or just basically the natural speed. It's just the sword now falling to the ground. Falling to the ground, and the focus is just me with the body catching it in between. Catching in between the ground. So I'm really trying to augment that power that's coming from the ground naturally, or the pull of the ground basically. And lining behind that. That's pretty much what you're doing. So, yeah. And just go to alternating. So just on the spot, just working with the basically number 4. Just to give the feet a little bit something to do. But again, feel that kind of pull from the ground, meet it, allow the sword to fall into it, and then you focus it in between. Focus it in between. So you're right in the middle of that connection point between the ground and the sky. Yeah, right in the middle of it. And the sword's just right there in the middle as well. So. Very nice. Perfect. And then just allow yourself to find the yokomen with it. So really one motion now, swinging through, find the cut. Swinging through, find the cut. Allow that right hand just to come up towards the top of the forehead, the center line, and find the cut. And find the cut. And find the cut. Find the cut. And just test the connection. I mean, you can add a little bit of power, you can add a little bit of speed to it, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. Just allow yourself to retest the feeling in the body again. And that motion of the sword's really going to come from that, just that shift of the hip, slight shift of the hip. And I'm trying not to add anything, just still allowing the sword to be pulled down to the ground and just catching it there in between. In this case, just catching it just off the back hip, or just on the back hip. Good. Good. Yeah, great. Very nice. Yeah. And again, just a few, go slower with it. So go again, basically as slow as I can keep the body in motion and keep the sword in motion. So, but this is really going to allow you to really get rid of a lot of these extra movements that tend to happen, like the sword coming out, the hand initiating, the sword basically traveling around the back of the head. These positions, one of those, the separation would be very difficult to do if I'm going really slow and I'm trying to move the whole body together. But extra moves will also feel uncomfortable. Positions will really feel uncomfortable, and especially if you've got a heavier sword as well. If you've got 𝗧𝗔𝗞𝗘𝗠𝗨𝗦𝗨, these extra moves will really feel uncomfortable if I go slowly with them, and they'll just start to split the body, and that will get the
my comfort will be really, 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 my uncomfort will be high first. I will feel very uncomfortable. So allow yourself to really slow the movement down. Footwork, how are the toes working as you do it? How do you find the ground with the feet? All those kind of issues. Just try and feel them as you do it. And the movement's very simple. So you can really allow your attention to kind of wander around the body. And also the wander around the space as well. So I'm relating to the ground. And again, coming back to this point about, can I actually feel the tip of the weapon? Do I feel where it is in space as it's, especially passing around the back? And the slower, the better. It really gives the body a chance to kind of clock what's actually going on in the connection work. Okay. Great. Again, just working on the spot, just work with number 7. So you've got the cut on the right, and then just rolling through into the ski. So not moving forward with it, just find the ski. Find the strike just on the spot. Basically, it's just exchanging the legs. Notice the hips need to be in a slightly different position to accommodate the ski. But just start with getting, just getting into it, put a little bit of power into it. If you want to test the connection with a little bit of going a little bit faster, just notice. As we go into the cut, first thing is really just balance. So. Okay, good. No, that's so nice. That's nice. Great. Okay. Great. And one thing that's useful for this is really think about the movement as like it's 4-dimensional, which I mean it is anyway. Whatever kind of movement you're doing it is working in that area. But think of like this. Think of this. If you think of this whole area like a big ball or a big kind of mass that is moving. Think about the movements that you make as you do this. Basically rolling in all directions from the core of the body. So I imagine like a gyroscopic kind of feeling. This kind of feeling to it, rather than the movement beat is a kind of quite 2-dimensional flat. It's kind of working on that kind of area. Allow the hips and the sort to really kind of roll that connection. So the movements are coming really in from this kind of motion. So it's basically this figure of 8 motion, which is why we focus so much on this kind of figure of 8 motion. But feel that it's really, the hips have this quality where they're allowed to really roll that connection. Now, if I'm really centered and grounded, those motions are possible. If I'm not really centered and grounded, that stuff just gets lost and it just becomes difficult. So I just clamp down and I just allow the movement to be kind of kind of one-dimensional again, or two-dimensional in that case. But allow them to really kind of roll and fall. Just go back to this idea of basically like a figure of eight pattern in the hip, and that motion being able to affect the connection out through the hand. It means going a little bit stupid with it, but sometimes that's a good thing. Can actually help just to unlock that whole area, but basically give it the motion, give the maximum amount of motion it's got. Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah, great. Great. And just allow yourself to travel around a little bit with now. So you can step on the 𝘥𝘠𝘦𝘢𝘵, you can step with the 𝘵𝑰, you can rotate to the back for the cut. Just allow yourself to roll and really maximizing the hip work. You feel that figure of eight work is really working the hips, transmitting to the sword. Right. Ooh.
Good job, you got that one.
Great. And then just add in a slice after the 𝘵𝘰. So just to open the movement out, practice another kind of hip movement as well. Just practice a kind of slicing roll, open up the back, and then flow into the 𝘥𝘠𝘦𝘢. Give yourself freedom to change the angles a little bit. Roll into that slice and then roll out of it. So really using the full range of the hip work, connecting to the feet. Affect the sword by changing the hip. Basically, slice open the hip. That's that. Perfect. Nice. Yeah. Whoosh. Okay, great. So this is a little bit of an odd one, but if you think about cutting with the sword, then this, I mean, the sword will cut by itself, right? If I just let it, it will cut by itself. But if you think about my movement, I want to initiate a cutting motion. I really need to make the whole body cut, right? So it's a bit of a strange one, but when we do this naturally with the arm, so we do this when we do Aikido, think about like cutting with the arm, right? Cutting with the arm, cutting with the arm. But it's not just cutting with the arm, right? It's cutting with the whole body. So the best one to think about is cutting with the hip in a sense. But actually I'm thinking about all this kind of the sharp bones of the body, like the shin bone and the forearm bones. And I think about really slicing through with them in this case. So and then the hip as well, I've got a kind of sharp hip bone. And I'm thinking about kind of driving that in also with the movement. But it's the same with the ski as well. So the ski is really going to come from the body, not from the sword, especially the ski, because I mean it will thrust by itself. If I maybe drop it that way, it will thrust down into the ground, right? But I need to basically align the body behind that. But again, that motion or the intention to ski really comes from the body, right? So imagine what parts of the body I'm going to really kind of thrust through with. Same idea with the slice. I'm slicing with the body. I'm slicing with the arm. I'm slicing with the hip. I'm slicing with the shin bone. Everything's kind of slicing with it, right? So just play with it, and it's basically the extent that I can recruit the whole body into that idea, right? So the whole body needs to cut. The whole body needs to thrust, and the whole body needs to slice. It's that motion. And I'm just using the sword as my tool to kind of extend that feeling out. But the actual feeling of the movement comes from the body, obviously. Actually comes from the mind, but the mind changes the body. And martial arts are actually great because we don't really make that disconnection between mind and body, which is totally screwed us up. Push. Just trying to feel just how much of the body I can basically bring into the motion. And you're either basically recruiting the body into it, or the body's being dragged into it. So maybe the feet are being dragged into a cut they don't want to do. So it's just a matter of letting the feet follow into that cutting motion as well. Good. Yes. Yeah. Nice. Good. Very nice. Now, just give yourself a little bit of freedom with the cutting and the slicing, and just changing the kind of angles with it. So, means kind of play with a few things in the sense the cut you can do a little bit lower. The thrust you can also change the grip on it. Just play a little bit with these things. The slice you can also change the angles with it. So just allows us to kind of move freely, but any change is going to come from the body deciding to change. So everything goes. If I want the sword to go down, everything needs to drop into it. If I want the sword pierce in another direction, everything needs to change to align to it. So go into variations, changing the angles, but allow those variations to be changed from the kind of central idea from the body. Whoosh. If other movements come up, just follow. Whoosh. There you go.
Michael, what helps for me is actually not clinging on to the sword.
Yeah, right. Also, right. Yeah.
Let the sword follow your movement instead of you pushing the sword into a movement.
Exactly. Right. So, Peter, I'll share it with the group actually later. Actually, I don't have the book. I'll see if I can find it. But he's basically got this exercise which is basically following the sword, right? So he says it's just an exercise with the sword. Pick up the practice sword and just see what it wants. Actually, see what it wants to do. Where does it want to go? And then basically I'm following the sword around, right? So it's changing the relationship that I have with the object, which is really crucial to like what we're doing, right? Like, I mean, I'm a painter, so like I can make the paintbrush do everything that I want it to do. But like, what's the limit of my control? So I'm working with the paint. I'm gonna try and control the paint as well, and I'm trying to control everything, right? Actually, easy if I just drop that, and I just kind of do it, right? But it's like a line of changing my relationship to the object that I'm working with, and really feeling that it's connected to me. And then, but I do that by like, am I over controlling it, right? Am I actually just doing too much? And it's stuff that I don't actually need to do to actually to move the weapon or to be functional with it. So that like shifting the relationship, actually, what does this want to do actually? It wants to do that. Okay, how do I align to that? That's kind of a really useful shift to make, but it's a good shift to make, in my opinion. Most people never go there. So it's like, it's a scary shift to make. What do you mean? The sword's got control. What do you mean? I'm in control, right? So, anyway, what time we? Time to go. Okay, we'll finish that. Let's finish up on that point. Okay, great. Right. どうもありがとうございます。
どうもありがとう
どうもありがとうございました。
Okay, great.
Thank
So-
you.
so
Thank
my-
you, Michael.